What up, guys? I'm Krett, and welcome to a very special episode of Really. I
Very
didn't tell
special?
him. Yeah, it's a very special. You're going to be more excited than I am. This is the semi-annual Really with F. and Krett Chaacstravaganza.
Chaac!
We're going to celebrate all things Chaac. We're going to celebrate Chaac mid, Chaac
Love it.
solo,
Love it.
Chaac jungle,
Love it.
Chaac ADC,
Pretty love it.
Chaac support.
Love it.
Chaac has seen all roles in competitive play. Suntouch could have played Chaac for his entire career and done just as well.
I mean, it's true. If you think about it, Chaac is... Chaac has
What doesn't he do aside from stun?
That's pretty much it. You got a huge slow.
Yeah.
A huge one. I mean, that's
He used to even slow towers. Who else slows towers?
Right? Newa, Old Wa, once upon a time.
I don't think she slowed them.
She stunned it.
Yeah,
which
she
is
stunned them,
like
but that's
slow
not a
plus.
slow. So she was like Chaac.
It's like an ultra slow. You're slow, you're going backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
But so, Chaac, man. Because
He's great. He's got Arnold Schwarzenegger references.
Yup. He's got two new skins.
Yep.
Two new skins. And they're both really cool.
He's got a big axe. Great
Love it.
with Bluestone.
Love it.
Great with Mark of the Vanguard.
Love it.
Great with Death Toll.
Love it.
Great with Bumbas and Watcher's Gift. Just buy them all, dude. You don't need anything else.
You don't need Bumbas.
And
Mask.
you can get as many boosts as you like on Chaac. Well, you can't, but if you could, that would be amazing. That would be
Can
the
you
best
imagine
pass in the game.
Chaac's passive was just wear more than one boot.
Yes. So good.
Actually, worth asking.
Yeah.
If that was the case, would you just buy all the boots because movement speed is movement speed?
Yeah, you probably would. Assuming like it bypassed the fact that boots don't stack. Like even when you could buy all the boots, they didn't stack.
Right, but pretend like they stack.
Yeah, I think you probably
would lose a shitload of stats, but you'd
you'd get boots are pretty efficient in stats. So like, I don't know. I think you'd get Mystical Mail and all the boots. And then chase Meerkat around. It would be great.
You just auto-loaded to Meerkat's game. That's what happens.
Oh my
all
god.
of a sudden, you gotta fight Meerkat bot.
What we need to do is we need to find out when Meerkat's birthday is. And we need to start a petition to get Pon to load into Meerkat's games on his birthday as 5 boots Mystical Mail Chaac and just chase him around all day.
I'm down. And 2, I want one of the cosplay people to make a Mystical Mail cosplay.
Oh, that would be good.
I will, I don't know how you do the aura, maybe like blinking lights, but you make just the breastplate, you know?
Yeah.
And I would I don't know if I'd wear it and walk up to him at LAN or just put it on him while he's not looking. Just he's facing the other way and you just go, and all of a sudden he's just wearing Mystical Mail.
So good. Alright, apparently his birthday is April 16th. So we gotta wait 6 months for this joke, but it's gonna be great.
It's totally gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Alright, so we did see some Chaac this week, didn't we?
We saw a shitload of Chaac.
That's right. Chaac's the best.
So Zelia was playing Chaac before
Yeah,
he
full
got
damage
buffed.
Chaac. Full damage Chaac. It worked against the people you'd expect it to work against.
Yeah, it worked against lower-ended teams, and the problem with the thing with damage Chaac is damage Chaac does a lot of damage, but doesn't do what he's generally put on a team to do, which is be that tanky frontliner.
Yeah, he heals real good, but like...
he winds up just taking more damage than he heals.
Yeah, definitely.
So
it's cool to get like a Jotun's Wrath on Chaac because his heal does scale with Fizz power, and it scales pretty well, but it doesn't outscale his damage, the damage that he takes. It doesn't even come close.
Right. And and we saw that it didn't work against Paradigm, really.
No.
Or Fnatic, rather.
Yeah, no,
right?
it didn't, which is not surprising.
Yeah, Fnatic played. So, shouts to Fnatic, by the way.
Okay.
Captain Twig isn't around, which, to be fair, hasn't exactly been their MVP of the fall split.
Right.
But Captain Twig's not around. for one of the most important weeks for this team, because that's last week was all about second seed, right? And their substitute / coach steps in.
Sure.
And he rocks it.
Well, Ependary like used to be.
Did you get to watch that game at least?
He used to be a pretty strong professional player, right? He was on Mortality Esports.
I know you don't do EU, but
I'm dodging your question. What I want to know is how much
Earth to Krett?
God damn it, I was pressing the wrong alt. I was talking to the stream and not you. Anyway, what I want to know is how much time in advance they knew that Twig wasn't going to be there. Like how much time they had to prep Ependary, because he did play in the Pro League. Well, I don't think it was the Pro League at the time, but he like played on Mortality. Like he's a good player. He has proven that he is a good player. So with a little bit of prep time, obviously he's not the starter, but that's dope.
Right, exactly. So I talked to him. He didn't they knew a little bit beforehand, but I got the idea that it was like the week of.
Yeah,
not too much earlier.
It's probably when you would start practicing anyway. You're not going to start practicing with your sub and then like go into a weekend where you play without your sub and then play with your sub. That's weird. Yeah, so Monday of that week, Ependary says, and like that's about the amount of time you want. He played really well. Did it. Nice. It was exactly what you want to have happen, right? Ependary is a good player. He proved it. And, the question is then, are we going to see the Cheerio, or are we going to see more of Captain Twig?
I think, honestly, so there was the post-game interview, and sometimes players say things that aren't true at all because, just appearances or whatnot.
Sure.
But I got the gist that Ependary was kind of telling the truth that Twig was coming back.
Yeah.
Just like gut feeling. Maybe Twig is out. I don't know. But from the sounds of it, it was just like Twig had to do something. He was on a trip or school or something specific, and that we'll see him again. But and to be fair to Twig, I mean, he's been performing real well towards the end of the season. So if it was at the beginning of the season, Krett, I think we'd have more of a, speculation.
Put him in, coach. He is the coach. He makes that decision himself.
Yeah, I think if it was earlier in the season, like week 3, where Fnatic was kind of falling on themselves, I think we could have more speculation time. But Twig got out of a slump. He's been performing well enough. So
sure.
I mean,
he hasn't played Chaac yet, though.
I know. Chaac jungle. Do you think we'll get to see DJ play it?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
DJ
was like the Chaac jungle.
Right,
like that when you're playing Chaac, and I said this on the stream today, and like someone was like, "What?" When you're playing Chaac and you torrent, and either you teleport and you didn't mean to, or you don't teleport and you meant to, that's called a DJ Pernicus. Like that's actually what that's called, because he did it in a competitive game. He was about to murder someone, like they had 50 health, and he torrents and he just goes whoop and flies away. So,
I do remember that. That was, but I mean, Chaac jungle is. I like the character, but I don't know how much Chaac jungle really affects things. The Guan jungle works because he does so many different things.
Right, and you can't focus him.
Yeah, Chaac is just like. I mean, if built defensively, you shouldn't really
You can't focus him, but like Guan is not only is he tanky, but he's also super jukey because his 2 is like getting juked by the 2 is so easy because it's just whoop. It looks quick. Like they're lagging, honestly. Like they just
the
move.
Trails.
Yeah, exactly.
The trails like you've been eating something. Yeah,
exactly.
It's funny. I like that character though. I like the approach to the jungle that DJ brings to it. So thinking about Chaac and how that's application, I mean, realistically, I don't think Chaac jungle really sees something unless we get assassin heavy lanes back, because then Chaac jungle, like, you can kill someone in those 3 seconds that you're silenced for with the ult out of the jungle.
Right.
But I think in a world where it's, straight warrior solos for the most part, and it's Hunter supports, Hunter Guardians, and it's very traditional. I don't really know if Chaac jungle works. So,
well, what about Chaac ADC?
Sure. I don't like
Paradigm
non-ranged ADCs.
Yeah, but Paradigm would totally play it.
Sure. I mean,
come on.
We saw Mercury out of Titan. Titans.
Yeah.
They had the show match on Smite Central yesterday. They played Mercury.
Yeah, I think people really want. I mean, because Mercury for a long time was this character that was so powerful, and he still does what Merc did back then. Like he walks up to you, and you die. You just fucking die. But so does he, which is kind of the problem. So people are sort of testing to see if he's back, and I hope he's not back. Like, fuck that, fuck that character. Fuck Mercury. I don't think anyone wants him back. I'm pretty sure the balance team is like, Mercury's underperforming, and then someone's like, let's not buff him. It's fine. Just leave him where he is.
Just fuck that dude. I mean the character like early game is a beast because he traps you.
Yeah, he's got to throw.
Exactly. And then like late game the throw kills him, but you don't have to throw because you crit them twice and they die.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he is semi-global pressure on a hyper carry.
Did you see Adapting's highlight videos that he just put out recently? Well, he played a lot of Mercury and like a well-executed Mercury. I've never like seen from third person that level of Mercury, and just like he would use the ultimates to go, through from one lane to another or all the way down the lane.
Yeah.
But he would end up right next to the guy, like calculated, as opposed to like when I Merc ult and you wind up like too far away from the guy, you gotta run back,
Yeah, when he like ults through you and like ends up in your tower and just dies to your tower.
Yeah.
The classic Mercury casual play.
That's me. Like, Adapting just winds up right next to you. And
yeah.
It's ranked play, of course, and to be honest with you, the whole video was him killing Ninja Bobat. Like, it began with one or two other players, and then, I don't know, 4 to 5 minutes was just Bobat dying to Mercury over and over again.
That's so good.
And it was out of this world. And, I mean, it gave me a glimpse into, like, oh, no, Mercury can't come back.
No, please.
Because you just, like, the beginning kills are Adapting just outplaying Bobat. Like, Bobat's, like, backing in the entrance to the jungle from mid lane, and Mercury or Adapting's, like, on his own tower, dashes all the way down the lane and just turns around and murders him. Sweet. And then late game, he's got all the crit items and just doop, doop, doop. And I don't want any part of that.
Yeah,
I don't like Mercury.
I was playing a Mercury game in a casual, and the enemy team was doing a fire giant. So I like ult in, I pop beads and sprint, and just run up and start hitting the fire giant. Yeah, you try and secure that shit, you won't. It's Mercury, just like 1800 DPS.
Oh man, Mercury ADC was. So I don't like melee characters in the hunter role, honestly. I think that there's so many problems that are presented with that.
Yeah, because the thing is, when it comes to MOBAs, if you're going to do that, they have to be Dota carries. And the only thing close to a Dota carry that Smite has is Vamana. Right? Like, classic Vamana play where you're just huge. You just walk and you're like, I'm fucking huge, and then you kill everyone and you go, wop, 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 wop. That's how Dota carries play.
And to be honest with you, we have seen Vamana Hunter this split.
Wait.
Mirrodins put Vamana in the Hunter lane because they just decided to not give a shit. Like, it didn't work at all. But it was. I mean, that's what we saw. Vamana's just like, oh yeah, got shit on.
But like, you can't really do a melee carry that's not decently tanky, right? Like, it just doesn't work. And Dota has some like other mechanics. I'm pretty sure when you're stunned, you can't dodge. So like, a lot of the tankiness comes from dodging, but if they get stunned, they just fucking die or whatever. Melee hyper carries in Smite, like with Khepri, maybe you could do it, right? Because you like. And I think that's the on paper combo that everyone wants to make happen with Merc ADCs. You run Merc Khepri, and then you ult the Mercury with the Khepri, and he gives 40% move speed and 25% power, and if you kill him, he comes back. But like, I don't think it really works in game
No.
that way.
No, that's one of those fantastic examples of like math.
It looks
It's
good
not.
on paper.
Exactly.
He's gonna do like 4,000 DPS. That's dope, but like,
That right there is the difference between theoretical and practical.
yeah. And then in actuality, he runs in and like a Bologna disarms him, and then he beads, and then like they activate a Heavenly Agility and run away,
Yep.
and then someone stuns him, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm
But I mean-
screwed."
So Mercury in the jungle. What is his problem there? Jungle can't clear.
I think it's like I feel like he's just too vulnerable to getting killed, right? Because like, you know, the ideal Merc play is you show up when it's a 2v1 using your ult, and you throw someone,
Right.
and then they die. But you won't do that. You won't find a 2v1. That's just not the way jungle mid plays right now. So like, you're gonna go in, you're gonna throw someone, and then whoever you didn't throw is going to fucking murder you because you're Mercury, and you don't really have that much damage yet.
It worked a little better when mid harpies were a thing instead of just a thing, right? Mid harpies have
Yeah.
gone up a little bit since the change, just because of how the jungle routes work, but they're not what they used to be, right? And those fights were a really big lightning rod for Mercury, because
I think it's just a little weird because like Merc's early game is poke, right? And like that kind of works in the hunter role, but jungle mid it just falls flat, I think.
I actually think Merc winds up better in the lane than in the jungle at the moment.
Yeah. No.
Just because of, you know, the poke and everything that you said.
Yeah.
As far as
Well,
like
and
how
you
the
also
early game works.
kind of want to actually use that 800 gold, right? Like one of the weird downsides to being a jungler that I think a lot of people don't really realize is that your starter item sucks. Bomba's Mask
if
is
you're
a bad item.
Not if you're Chaac. Chaac just buys death toll.
Yeah, but then you lose 100 GPM. So like that sucks too, right? So your starter item sucks. Either you're down 800 gold or you bought a real starter item and you're down 800 gold in 8 minutes. And I mean, if you got Death Toll and you won the game off of it, like nobody gives a shit. It's good job. You bought Death Toll, you snowballed. Nice, dude. You did it.
Chaac money!
But yeah, Bumba's not doing anything kind of hurts, right? Because like Death Toll is a fucking good item. 100 health, 15 damage, the little
Which
like
is
lifesteal
kind
on
of
it.
a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of a good thing.
It sort of slows down jungler power because their ability to be anywhere is kind of strong enough.
We had this discussion a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about maybe the jungle starter item should be in the active slot, because then you can't really buy Blink.
Yeah, I mean, and that worked for the game balance. Back with the hog, like the thing about the hog meta that was so weird is that it was garbage, right? Like the fact that 3 roles had to get hog was just so dumb.
Okay.
But it worked. Like it forced you into not getting 2 actives. It was dumb on principle, but like on paper it just sort of worked. Still felt stupid having 6 hogs per game, but now there's 10 blinks and 10 beads, so whatever.
Yeah. Everybody's buying beads. Supports even are buying beads these
Well,
days.
that makes a lot of sense, right? Because like,
of course.
I think the perfect example is Geb. There was a game last season, I think it was us versus Denial last split, where like Mike was engaging and killing people, and Shadow Q was like shielding them, so Mike was like, okay, I'm gonna go on Shadow Q. And then he bought beads, and it was like, shit, who do we go on now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most obvious example, of course, is when there's an Ares in the game, right? And we saw that. I think Badger was probably the most recent. He bought it on Sunday on the Bacchus, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Ares, if you don't have beads, Bacchus is a free kill. He doesn't, like Geb, you can just be like, shit, I'm gonna get pulled, and then you waste your ult. I mean, not even waste, really. You use your ult to get CC immunity. Bacchus is just screwed.
Yeah,
You drink and you're like, I hope these 10 protections help.
It's just pretty much it, you know. You're like, all right, how long till my jump is off cooldown? Can I last the stun? I'm gonna get pulled by Ares and I'm gonna get stunned. Can I outlast it? If so, let's do it.
Yeah.
But so it's interesting because it's supports now feel the active game feels much like other characters, where before Hog meta was just you're fucked, and then right after the Hog meta, you were not forced into, but like you just bought defensive actives and CC. Well,
you're just like, word, I can get Creeping Curse and Heavenly Agility.
Yeah, because you were so used to just getting smoked by CC anyway. It was a part of the game, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it was Chaacstravaganza first, but of course that's how things go. Somebody else did it,
could have
of
been
course,
anyone.
blah blah blah. And they just, what if I buy beads? Ymir won't kill me in the early game. I should just buy beads.
Yeah.
Boom! It's such like an epiphany that these supports had. And then all of a sudden, now it's just like a regular character where you go, all right, there's a lot of CC. I should get beads. And then, instead of going blink like Sir Krett does, I'll go shell because I'm Bacchus, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the game is better without Hog, and maybe junglers shouldn't have should have 2 actives, and everyone should have 2 actives, and that should just be how the game goes. But like, it still feels like there's some weird balance things with the blink. I guess the blink nerfs help, but like,
the blink nerfs just sort of change
a lot of
the
characters. A lot of the characters, I think, were designed. Sir Krett was designed not to be able to get blink because she had to get Hog beads.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that, I think, was the design philosophy on her. That's why her 3 does what it does. It's a replacement blink. It's what you use instead of blink. But, like, now she can get it, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it drastically changed what the character could really do, and that's an issue. But I feel like it's
okay now
for Sir Krett, which
there's a few others. Like, Athena can freely get blink now. Like, blink Athena was always good, but now you're just like, I can just get this and not, still get Heavenly or whatever.
What makes blink Athena different than a blink Ymir, though?
The cast time on Athena's 2 is half of Ymir's, and it doesn't stop her from moving. So Ymir, when you go to Frost Breath, he stops moving, right? Which, first of all, is hilarious, because if you're running at someone and you let go of the W key, they'll think you're freezing. And they'll react. They'll beads and stuff. It's hilarious.
So you just come and be like, all right, I'm coming. Just kidding.
Yeah, and like, if they're Chunga, they will immediately too. It's great. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but Athena's is 0.2. It's a 0.2 second precast, which is very good. It matches a lot of jumps in the game. So if you blink on someone, and assuming they don't know that you're going to blink and they're not like already ready, if they can't react to your blink and they just have to react to like your presence there, you can often beat their jump. It just sort of becomes a reaction time battle.
Alright, yeah, I see that.
And like, that probably is kind of OP.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. There's no real warm up on the confound. You're just sort of like, ah! And they're like,
yeah, gotcha. And it groups people because like
yeah. I'm trying to think of the other all the other supports that sort of had to get beads.
Yeah.
The reason is on their abilities that they use after the beads, whether it's Wrath of Terror or Freeze Breath or whatever. It's all like with Ymir, there's the big.
Wrath of Terror.
And Geb, there's like a boom!
Right, and it's like obviously intentionally balanced, right? Like Geb's Cataclysm is a stun, which is weaker than a knockup because you can beat a stun, and you can't beat a knockup, but it's got a faster windup. Wrath of Terror's got a slower windup, but it's a knockup, and you can't beat out of it. So like, there's obviously intentional balance there, and then. Yeah, Athena's is a taunt. You can beat out of it, but like it's super fast. Yeah, Blink Odin also has a very fast. Yeah, it totally does, but it's also like, I mean, your method of escaping from Odin doesn't change. It's not like if the ring came down slower, it would really change whether or not you can get out. Except for maybe like the cases where you're like right near the edge.
Yeah.
Sort of like that Hades ult thing, when Hades ults you and you like get just lucky enough that your first step gets you out of it.
Yeah,
that would happen a little more if you slowed down the cage, but
that happened so much to Moga this weekend.
It's sad, man.
Like, just repeatedly, players just walked out of his ultimate, and it was just so funny. You know what I found funny a lot was what Elevate. It was a Duros team. Elevate played, what was it, a tanky character mid. They played against a tanky character mid. Probably a Zhong Kui, because this week everybody just decided to play Zhong Kui.
Yeah, dude, he's so tanky.
It's the base stat increase was absolutely incredible. Like,
yeah,
he's always been. I mean, that's his thing, right? He's on the tanky mage, but he's a warrior now.
He's like probably the tankiest character in the game at 20 minutes.
Whoa!
Because
so?
your Guardian is lower level. Because Guardians are supports.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like,
sure,
not like the tankiest character in the game at level 20 with 4 items, but it's like about the time when he's starting to get some Hide of the Urchin stacks, and his ultimate's pretty high level, and he's got some health, and probably a Warlock Sash or whatever. He probably has about 2,600 health and like 150 of each defense, and Guardians often don't.
Yeah, I mean, so Bess was playing Zhong Kui, and Elevate goes in with like Mytheria Thor dunks down. They hit him with a Kukulkan ult, and like somebody else punches him in the face, and Bess like just sort of jumps up and down.
Yeah,
like he's happy. He goes up to the wave, exercises, and is at like 65% HP.
Yeah.
And so the dudes from Elevate, it was off of Matt Yankee. Matt Yankee went in and grabbed him with the Xing ult.
Yeah.
Threw him. It was dope because like they got the perfect combo that you knew they drafted for. Thor came down, got the stun, so Matt Yankee came in and Xing tornadoed and threw him right into the Kukulkan ultimate, and homie was fine. And so they just sat underneath their tower. And the characters, like Zidane was working camera and like went onto a Duro, and like the characters were just like, they looked left, they looked right, they looked at each other, they looked at Best, and Best character like jumped up and down. It was so funny. You knew the feeling. You knew the feeling of like,
yeah,
we threw everything at that dude, and he's fine. Like, what on earth?
Yeah, he is ridiculously tanky.
So how do you deal with that?
Nemesis. The same way you always fucking did. Yeah, Nemesis, or, I mean, the quintessential problem with Zhong Kui's laning phase is you card the wave and you walk forward and you exorcism. If you can prevent him from walking forward and make that unsafe, you can ruin his life, but like... Dude,
how come in my games I always get harassed for that? And then you never really see that on the top level. Is it just...
Because there's a jungler there,
scary?
too. It's a 2v2. Yeah, it's more complicated. Dude, but Xing. Alright, Xing's so cool, because first of all, he's another high damage support. That's dope. But second of all, he has a flip when he jumps. And that's great. Supports can finally do flips, just like solo laners when they played Bakasura. Like, right at the height of Cyclone insanity, when all the highlight reels was Cyclone murdering people as Bakasura.
Just Baka bullshit.
And every clip would end with Cyclone just jumping away doing flips. And now Xing can do it too. It's great. I love the character.
Xing is, I mean, he's fun, he's interesting. I forget who said he's Ares for dummies. Is that accurate? Because I feel like similar
kind
roles,
of,
but they're different.
Kind of. I mean, they do really high damage. I suppose the difference is, like, Ares has passive peel, which would be, like, making people leave because you're Ares and you're horrifying. And also, I guess you have bolster defenses, too. I mean, that's a pretty good ability. You know, bolster defenses, the CC reduction stacks with reinforced greaves?
Yes.
It's hilarious.
It's outrageous how... I don't know. People overlook that a lot.
It's really funny.
People overlook bolster defenses a lot.
You know, both of those things.
You
know, both of those things stack with diminishing returns. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they also stack with tier passive.
Ow.
Also, tier passive works against intoxicate, which is hilarious because you're drunk, but only for a second. He's got a good metabolism.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't
It's
even understand how
honestly
that works.
almost more
I love
disorienting than the full duration of being drunk. Because you're like, oh god, I got to adjust for intoxicate, and then you don't anymore. You're like, ah, god, I got to readjust to being normal. Anyway,
I really could have used that the last time I hung out with Wolfie. I was drunk for like 30 hours because just
Yeah.
Wolfie effect, right?
yeah, he does that. Me too, man. I don't even drink. What was I? Yeah, he sort of is Ares for dummies, right? Like Ares has, I think, a higher skill threshold and a higher positioning threshold, where
Of
Xing
course.
is like Ares with a movement ability to get the fuck out.
Yeah, Ares can jump, or Xing can jump away, and I think that it's sort of like risk versus reward, where that's the wrong phrase, but Ares, you have to be able to have the skill to land the chain,
Yeah.
but you're rewarded sufficiently for that because chains, well, I mean, they hurt. Everybody has died to chains.
Yeah,
at
they
some
do
point.
like 9 billion damage. But the thing about Shin is he's super good at popping actives, much like Ares is. Now, Ares pops them because you will die off of his ultimate if you get pulled. Xing, you probably will still die, but it's like slightly less scary. It's like
Because there's no
90% chance of death versus like 80% chance of death.
Yeah, I mean, there's no stun, but you have to account for the throat, like the air time, which is a pseudo stun, if you will, right? Because you can't
Yeah.
react to it, you can't do anything once you're in the air. So if you beat the ultimate, you're largely, I mean, you're totally fine.
Right.
But
Well,
if
but then you get
don't-
rooted for 2 seconds.
yeah, and that's where I think the strength of Xing Qian is.
Yeah,
is
and
in
that ability does
ability.
mad damage too. Well,
Yeah,
the second ability.
Is it two?
It's his two, yeah.
Word. Well, yeah, the pancake flip is
Yeah,
just, the pancake flip. That's the money ability. I don't even think about the when I see one. It's all about the pancake flip because you're rooted forever,
Yeah.
and roots can be underestimated because you can still do your shit.
Right, yeah. I mean, honestly, Xing Qianal does good damage. It will usually get beads, but it's also one of those abilities where, like, if it actually goes off, everybody's dead.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's got that going for it. A little bit like, those good Hades ults that you get to see sometimes.
Good Hades ults. Omega.
Yeah.
Saves Omega, like. That's your team, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Might be. That's my world champion you're talking about.
That was I gotta tell you, if you guys didn't watch the Eager games this weekend, go watch just game 2 towards the end, and it's the Omega show. He's just showing up. I mean, damn man, do you pay him extra or feed him extra?
He lives in Texas. I don't feed him at all.
You know what I think you should do for him, Krett?
Omega has a more ridiculous diet than I do. He eats less food than I do.
Well, you should mail him.
You know how I don't eat flavor?
boring
He
food.
doesn't. He eats even less. He eats like pizza and chicken fingers and like hamburgers, and that's it.
All 3 of those things sound like they would terrify you. They all have flavor.
No, I love those things. We've eaten together. We went to Vortex at the lunch tournament. Remember that?
Yes,
lovely.
but
They gave you a bag of chips and you flipped out.
dude, I'm at a restaurant, not a fucking deli. If I ask for chips on the side, don't you dare give me a 60-cent bag of Lay's. That was infuriating. I'm mad right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, no, it fucking was. My favorite part was on the menu. And usually restaurants don't do this for this exact reason, but on the menu it said exactly what they meant by rare, medium, etc. So I ordered medium rare, and I got medium, and I'm like, your fucking menu tells me that you're wrong. There's no argument here. You told me it was going to be this, and it's not this. How do you fuck that up?
Why did we even pay for that?
I don't know, man. I think we both still tip too, because
of course.
Well, I mean, it wasn't her fault,
It's
to be
not
honest.
the server's fault. It's
Right,
not the server's
but like, goddamn, that place sucked.
If
Shit.
anything, I would have just left a fucking tip. I'd have been like, you were fine and attentive. You didn't let me pull over a seat because you're the devil woman, but you're a server, and that sucks.
So there were 5 of us, and we go to a booth in the corner. It's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's dead.
No one's there.
No one's
No
there.
one is there.
And Tom pulls up a seat, and the server's like, "Excuse me, it's policy that you can't pull up a seat, and everyone is just like, what?
Well, so and then I
What?
asked her. I said, "Well, why not?" She said, "Oh, well, in case the other people need it." And I did the full like 180. I'm looking all around the place, and there's like a bartender talking to his girlfriend,
Yeah.
our server, and I'm pretty sure the cook was smoking a cigarette out front. And us.
No, he could smoke inside.
All right, it was Georgia. And I'm just looking around. I'm like, the other people? She said yes, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna sit down.
She was like, "Oh, we're gonna have people in soon." No, fucking nobody.
Yeah.
And then everyone gets their food, and everyone's like, "This place sucks." And Trenkel's like, "I actually really like that burger."
Oh man, TK. TK is lucky I like him so much. Otherwise, I'd murder him for making me eat chips in a bag in a restaurant.
You just gave him back to her. You're like, "What is this?" No.
Yeah, I just handed him back. And she didn't even offer me a different side. Like, come on now.
Goddamn.
It was absolutely ridiculous. We gotta remind me not to go there when you come back. We're gonna not go there.
Dude, I'm excited. I actually might call them and be like, "Hey, when you're open, that's nice. I'm not going to your shitty restaurant." And then not go to their shitty restaurant. That sounds...
Hi, Vortex. I'd like to make a reservation for 0 because you suck. Out. Peace. Got him. Yeah, that'll show them.
That's right.
That'll show them.
Yeah, the hostess will be very confused.
You're not coming? Well, all right. Have a. But I'm not going to go to your house either. I'll see you later.
You know,
I mean, that's.
I was thinking. I went to a restaurant recently because I actually leave my house now that I have a motorcycle, which is sweet, and you can see pictures of it on Twitter. There's a company that makes the plastic signs that say, "Please see hostess to be seated." Right?
You can probably buy them at Staples.
Yeah, there's a company out there that... Is there a company that makes signs that say, "Please see host to be seated"? I don't think there is.
Oh my... This is... I'm sure you can find a Tumblr post about it.
You probably can find a Tumblr post about it, yes.
I mean, I'm sure there are some. And at the end of the day,
probably like custom ordered.
Yeah. Or you know what? You probably... I've seen the signs for valets. Mm-hmm. So, two things. One, hostesses are usually... I mean, the person of the host position, whether male or female, is usually picked as a woman for marketing purposes, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And on the rare occasion that they're a male and they need a sign, the owner probably goes to get the same sign that valets have, which is "Please see attendant."
There you go.
So it's easy to cover your bases as a sign company. Oh, you have a male host? Well, you're the odd one out. Go buy an attendant sign.
Yep.
But so where did that come from? Well, why are you so interested in host marking?
Dude, we're not even talking about anything related to Smite right now.
No, of course. I'm just asking why you like.
Because I went to a restaurant and it was like on this corner, so you had to park around back, and I walk in the back, but the host.
But you just parked on the sidewalk because you're a badass now.
No, I parked in the parking lot.
Do you park in a spot?
Yeah.
Why don't you park on the sidewalk?
Fuck that.
But that's so cool.
No, that's how people fuck with your... No, I'm gonna park in a parking lot. Anyway, walk in.
So you went to the restaurant alone?
Yeah, I was hungry.
Did you sit down or did you take it to go? I
sat down. What am I gonna take it to go? I have a motorcycle. I'm gonna eat while riding down the highway? No.
I can just picture you, and because like a reasonable food to eat while you're driving, I guess, would be like a
French
hot
fries.
dog or a taquito, right?
Yeah.
I could see you instead with some sort of contraption to hold it goes on over your head like a bib.
A feedback.
It extends a tray, and then you just have a full meal of mashed potatoes and some sort of protein that you're using a fork and knife for at the red light. You know, that's how you would do it. I can totally see that go down.
Totally. No, but anyway, so I walk in because it had two entrances, but the hostess was obviously at the front. And so it said, "Please see hostess," and you walk through the restaurant backwards. It's really actually very strange to approach the hostess counter from the back. Feels very weird.
Yeah, it's a pizzeria by my old place, by my place in New York that does that. But continue.
Yeah, and then I saw the sign and I was like, those always say hostess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have honestly seen like I can probably count on one hand the amount of hosts that I've seen
Yeah.
total.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it just makes sense, right? From a
People
promotion standpoint,
like talking to women more than they like talking to men.
and it's funny because it's also like, I don't know, just approachability.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. So what kind of restaurant was it, dude? What kind of
It
restaurant did they have in
was like
Florida?
a Greek diner type place.
Oh, diner and restaurant are two completely
No,
different
but it wasn't a diner. It was like halfway between a restaurant and a diner.
Did they put chickpeas on the table while you were waiting for your order?
No.
They didn't?
No.
That's like the Greek diner thing.
Exactly, it wasn't a diner. It was like a restaurant diner.
What do you mean by just because it didn't
was
look
just
like shit? It was a restaurant diner.
No, it was a restaurant, but it had like they sort of like dinered it up a little, I guess. I don't know. They just like vibed it with like Greek diner feel intentionally. And I don't Dude, it was in St. Petersburg in like Touristville, okay?
I mean, look in chat. Look in chat. So this link that I have here, this is a diner. This is a diner in my town, and like, is this a restaurant diner? It's restauranty.
You know what? Google Maps is a thing. I'm just gonna fucking find it. All right, that's what we're gonna do.
It's just a diner. I think by calling it a restaurant diner, you're trying to dress it up into something that's not.
Nah,
going to a diner by yourself is that's totally fair. That's what diners are pretty much invented for. But going to a restaurant by yourself, I think it's total. I have done it, and I think it's fun. But it's one of those things that I'm aware of is outside of the norm, and that doesn't stop me from doing it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like people don't go to restaurants by themselves, but diners.
I mean, it was sort of like it's just 2 p.m. and I needed some food, man. There's really not that much more to it.
Well, what'd you get to eat?
I always like. I had chicken fingers to start.
I had a piece of toast.
Dude, I had chicken fingers and a burger. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting on that MLC stealth diet.
Yeah, and it was delicious. Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm sure it was. There is a distinct lack of diners here in Georgia.
I'm so sorry, dude.
They just replaced diners with Waffle Houses, which don't count.
Yeah.
And I think that's lame.
Here we go. Okay, so... Alright, this is literally what Google Maps says. Greek and Italian fare in a diner-like setup.
Diner-like? Oh my god. I can't deal with the fact that you were right. Can I see a picture of the interior?
Dude, I'll send you to the fucking website.
I need a picture of the interior.
That's their website, and let me get you the
Skitter's restaurant? Oh my god, I don't want to go to Skitter's. Sounds like some sort of like small bug or intestinal disease.
Dude, I was hungry already. Leave me alone. Oh god, the inside. See, I sat outside. It was much less horrifying.
Why don't I see where do I see pictures?
All right, here I got one for you.
They're on Facebook.
There you go. That's a picture of the inside. It is something, man.
That is something I would not call that a restaurant. That's a diner, Krett. That's a diner.
It's a diner-like restaurant. I don't fucking know, man.
That's a diner! Restaurants are nicer. I think the difference between a diner and a restaurant is tablecloth. Is that it?
Yeah, that's...
Does that sound right?
I don't know, because I've been to... I guess, but what do you like? So then, what is like Chili's and like Friendlies and that stuff?
Chili's, Friendlies, and TGI Fridays are all like
diner-like restaurants. Diner-like restaurants.
No, they're man, I don't even. I mean, they're shitholes.
Yeah,
I don't know. Places like that, they're they exist.
So basically,
because
when
they're
you
cheap.
say restaurant, you're talking about like a restaurant, like
When I say restaurant, I generally am talking
no,
about
like
a
where
restaurant,
with
correct.
like you like sit down and they're like, oh, look at our appetizers. And then there's a plate of like $12 cheese. That's the sort of restaurant you're talking about.
I don't know about $12 cheese.
Okay, basically, what would you call Vortex? Excluding the fact that our entire experience was garbage, what would you call it?
A boutique burger joint.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Yeah, that answers my question, because the place that came to mind was a...
eateries. Casual
Eateries? Sure.
That is what I call TGI Fridays.
Well, the place that I went to, Skitters, was... Some would call it a diner-like restaurant, but I'd call it a casual eatery. I sat outside, it was nice, and I had some chicken fingers, and they were good.
So why do all Smite players have the same goddamn diet? Y'all just eat chicken fingers and pizza and chicken fingers.
Yeah, dude, Dare eats a lot of pizza.
I mean, it's... Why is it all the same damn thing?
Maybe it's just a generic gamer thing. Is it?
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny?
What?
Hi-Res, so when you guys come for lands, Hi-Res, we like provide food usually.
Mhm.
And I think it was Popeyes. I forget. I think it was Popeyes. We had like Popeyes delivered, and there was tons and
Word.
tons of Popeyes. And Popeyes is a chicken joint, and there was just chicken strips and stuff. Some of the players left and came back with chicken nuggets from a different place. I think it's Burger King, because chicken nuggets are different than chicken strips.
Well, that's true. They are, I think.
I mean, it's the size. If you want,
Well, no,
I can
no, no.
have you
Isn't
turn
it?
around
Isn't
and,
it
like,
a
just cut up
tenderloin
the
versus a
strips.
breast?
I mean, it's all like processed nonsense.
That's
right?
true.
Like it's all
Hypothetically, isn't it a
It's-
tenderloin versus a breast?
Sure,
In
but it's
reality,
not like-
it's different shapes of pink ooze.
yeah, and you know, I'm not judging that left or right. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
leaving Popeye's chicken to go get. All right, if you want to come back with like a rotisserie chicken, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine. But you can't leave.
And you
like,
can get a
Popeye-
rotisserie chicken anywhere, because they sell those in supermarkets. And there are supermarkets all over the goddamn place.
I mean, you could go to a Boston market.
Yeah, you
right?
could.
Like,
Dude, that's the one thing about Connecticut that I actually kind of miss, is we had a Boston market and the mac and cheese was dope.
there's a Boston market here that I never go to.
What? No one ever goes to Boston market that often. Have you ever been to Dutchess?
Like Dutchess County, New York.
No, like Dutchess. It's a fast food chain. It's not even a fast food. It's a casual eatery chain that only is in Connecticut.
No. Why would I ever go to Connecticut?
It's a good question, or a good.
If I,
Yeah, I don't
in
have a
fact,
good
plan,
reason.
If I don't work for ESPN, I plan on
Yeah.
never visiting Connecticut.
Really? You've
going to
never
go to-
been to Connecticut?
I've never been to Connecticut.
I'm shocked because
Why would I? You're shocked. Why would
I
I, go
am
to
shocked.
Connecticut?
Because I know you used to be into punk, and like there was a thriving punk scene in Western Connecticut.
Yeah, but I was from Long Island and Queens and the
That's
rest
true,
of New
yeah.
York, which is better than Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Long Island is basically just more of Connecticut.
Long Island is kind of like Connecticut with an attitude.
Yeah, it is. Connecticut with a slightly different accent.
Connecticut with a drunken Billy Joel on a highway.
Connecticut
all
with
moments in
more
time.
Connecticut across the water.
Yeah. And it's funny though, because you get more Connecticut the further east you
Yeah.
go out on Long Island. Sorry, Jeff, but the further east you go on Long Island, the more Connecticut
Yeah.
you get.
So my parents have this friend who they bought this house like on the shore in like Westport, Connecticut, and you look across the water and you just see Long Island, and like people boat across, and it's like you get on your boat and you leave Connecticut to go to another Connecticut. It's the same fucking. God damn it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And or you could go north.
Do they
to
play
Cape
lacrosse
Cod.
in Long Island?
Of course, dude.
Okay, good. Yeah,
It's
it's
like
the
the
same
entirety.
state then. It's just the same.
It's and because of that, you get the lacrosse bros wearing their panties at places that you should just be wearing regular clothing.
Yep.
But they're lax bros, so they got to wear
Yep.
pennies, right? Like,
Yep. So, but Long Island is New York.
yeah.
So
Hell
Connecticut is a suburb of New York too.
Connecticut, like New Jersey, is an outside of the state suburb of
Yes!
the greater New York area.
Yes! Yes! Yes.
Outside of the state. You're not part of New York.
It's fine. I'll take that victory. We have been arguing this
for the tri-state area.
We have been arguing this literally since I met him.
Well, you combine to be a part of the tri-state area.
Yo, the tri-state area is dope too.
I mean,
because like you have all the same car dealerships.
Smite, if you want to play Smite, it is.
It used to be. Then
I mean,
everyone
just
moved
on
to
Long
Georgia.
Island. I mean, sure, you still got 3 players.
You have
Jeff, Baskin, and Met Yankee.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like everyone who lived in New York just moved to Florida, or not Florida, Georgia, and Florida.
I mean, Allied moved to Georgia, sure.
Yeah,
but wasn't that for I don't know. But
well, Tully's back in New York now.
Tully's back in New York.
Zap moved to Florida.
Mm-hmm. Zap moved to Florida to live with Eager, right? Yeah.
It used to just be Jeff and Wolfie.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mr. Kim stepped up, so you got Baskin, and then Mr. Fasciano, Mike Fasciano, the most
shocking that Met Yankee is from New York.
Dude, well, when I found out Met Yankee's name, I didn't blink for a second. I was like, Mike Fasciano? Yes. He definitely, I played soccer with 30 kids with a name that sounded like that growing up, and he's from the middle of Long Island, I bet. And he's from the middle of Long Island. He's very New York. Met Yankee. So there's 3 current pros.
Oh yeah.
There's three pros that currently live on Long Island, and there are more pros that came originally from Long Island.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I think Kabam moved back to New York.
Did he?
I think so. Because he used to live in Florida or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Transonics, the hunter for the Juice team on Xbox, is from the Bronx. So there's that. We got another one.
I mean, are we counting the... All right, so here's a question. Here's a question though. Right? Like Pro Smite Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like is it the same when you say professional and you're talking about an SPL player, is it the same professional when you're talking about an Xbox player? Or is there like a different level of merit?
So there's 2 ways to look at that conversation, and one of which is like the philosophy behind what is professional and art. Yes,
let's not do that. That sounds
level
boring.
of the game. And well, what I'm saying is that there's
fuck
like
philosophy.
Professional either means that it's enough for you to make a living from, which is I feel like the wrong definition.
Yeah.
Or professional means like you're part of the pro league or you're the top of the crop, etc. And so MLG last week for the Xbox scene sort of divvied that out because they're setting up a pro league. So I think if you looking at the top teams, Epsilon, Elevate, and Juice, I would consider them pro players in the regard that like
Eager.
And Eager. Did I leave them out?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah,
motherfucker.
Those 4 teams.
Don't you disrespect my Air Cougar.
Those 4 teams specifically, I haven't, and admittedly, I haven't seen much out of. I think Paradigm has a team, but those 4 teams I've watched, and you can tell that, like, you know that there's practice, you know that there's scrim and blah blah blah, and like they're at the top of their leagues, and they're doing it. I would consider that, for all intents and purposes, professional, but it's of course a long shot away from where the SPL is right now. So,
who's your favorite Smite PC flunky that's now playing on Xbox? I think mine is Dust.
Sure. It's weird for Juice for me because like I never really saw Dust give it a shot.
Yeah.
I never really saw TV give it a shot. Like
TV almost gave it a shot a few times.
Exactly. Yeah.
But he never actually grinded. He was always just like, fuck this, man.
It was one of those things where like TV everybody already started before him, so the grind to get to where everybody else was, which to be completely honest with you, I think that TV has the capability of doing it,
Sure,
blah, blah,
totally.
blah, blah, blah. But just looking down that road and seeing everybody else like 7 city blocks ahead of you was just, everybody's on the same even learning thing on Xbox, right? So
Yeah.
I think for a lot of for people like Dust and TV, it's less about like flunking out of PC and the fact that they just never gave it a real shot.
Yeah.
I guess so. The question would have to be answered with either Xing or Confrey, because those are the only two that like actually flunked out of PC and wound up on Xbox, right? I don't know any other players that played on a professional level on a PC.
El Chapo.
Oh, well,
no, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did the challenger seed grind for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And Air Cougar.
Yeah, Air Cougar. Okay, so
you know what my favorite thing about Air Cougar is?
What's that?
Is that you can call him Coogie Woogs.
I don't think I'd ever call him Coogie.
But you could.
Coogie Woogs.
But you could.
I don't think I would do that.
But you could, and it's great. It's a good pet name for him.
I don't think you could, actually.
I totally could.
I don't think you could.
I totally would. I've done it. I tweeted and was like, "Hey, Coogie Woogs, make me proud." And he was like, "I'll try my best," and then he got second. Good job. Good job, Air Cougar.
I do like the fact. I do like seeing those names, though. I think it's really cool that, and so for what it's worth, Xing tweeted that, or I was talking to him rather, and he was like, "Yeah, man. I mean, I'm fucked. I'm not in denial. I'm roster locked.
Yeah.
I'm going to Worlds though because Smite's a big part of my life, and I'm a part of the community with or without the pro scene." And then the next thing I heard, he was like trying to play on Xbox, and that to me is dope because that's him just like. Dude, I'm gonna go as a community member. I love to play. I'm roster locked. Can I just give it a shot, guys? And somebody gave him a shot. That's really cool to me.
Yeah.
So I give Xing all the credit in the world for that one. I don't look at him. I feel like it's easy to look at that situation and go, "Oh man, what a dropout!" Blah blah blah. And I'm sure people have filled his mention with that. But I just think, and for what it's worth, I am not taking that off the table for like.
Oh, and to be fair, when I say like, "Oh, who's your favorite PC flunky that plays on Xbox?" Like, I'm making fun of the people who think that. I don't actually think that.
So I think to answer the original question, if you are including the dudes on Juice, I like TV. I think TV has really like. TV has started to give a culture to that scene, and it's fun because like the interactions that we like to see in our pros between each other, either on the same team or not, on things like Twitter and stuff. That to me is really what makes the scene, right? Like once in a while, bad stuff happens, but it's really like I remember when one of my favorite interactions was the TSM guys were somebody tweeted a Barracuda. It was Eonic. Eonic tweets at Barracuda a trash can and goes, "Look at this! I found a picture of your immune system because Barra got sick." And Barra goes, "Wow, why does my immune system look like your ADC skills?" And that shit was hilarious. Like that's a good fun. Everybody's having a good time, right? And just people responding to each other. And with a new scene, that's sort of what like the hardest thing to come along, right? And you're seeing some of that. There was a video of one of the Xbox guys, Matt Coys, is on your team, right? He plays for Eager.
Yep.
And I forget who it was, but he's on like a Stairmaster. And he's like, "I'm coming for you, Matt Coys. I'm coming to land. I'm coming for you, Matt Coys." And shit like interactions between the pros for me personally is really what makes the scene. And you're starting to see that, especially with this first LAN. You're starting to see that out of the Xbox community. So,
all right,
that's what I like the most.
Who's your favorite PC flunky that now works for High Res?
My favorite. Well, I mean,
is it Kevin?
Pecky. Well, no.
It's Pecky's.
Pecky's is
Pecky's and then Kevin.
Pecky's is just everybody's favorite everything.
Yeah. All right, but Pecky's Kevin. Pecky's Kevin Pon Pon. Like that. That's the top three.
Of course, yeah.
I think they are the three. I mean, you got Clumsy Death,
Peckies.
but like
Clumsy D counts. Clumsy D counts.
All right, top 4.
APC was Tribes, but technically PC.
I mean, but it's not even really a flunky. Like, he won shit and then was just like, all right, I'm gonna work.
So good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zidane
I guess
really
that's it. Zidane, yeah, Zidane. No, Zidane doesn't count. Yeah, I guess it's just those 4. Hater Man had a good account, I guess, on EU, but I don't think he counts.
I mean, yeah,
just a caster.
Yeah. So that's my top 4 PC dropouts that went to Hi-Res.
Can you give me a power rankings of the top 4 PC flunkouts? For
a power ranking?
Into power rankings.
Yeah, we're gonna do Pon because he had like the like realist presence. And then Peckies because whatever he plays this week will just ruin the randoms on your team. And then Clumsy Death because he's just so cute. I want to pitch his cheeks. And then Kevin because
Kevin. Do you think that you could put Peckies on a 8th seeded team right now and see him?
Yeah, oh yeah. Pecky. I think all of them could do fine in the SPL.
You think Kevin could?
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, you think Adonis could? I mean, he's got three Masters accounts. Not even.
I think
there's some skill left in there.
I don't know what level of play that Clumsy and Pon are playing at right now, but I suspect all 4 of them could be playing the SPL no problem.
Word.
I mean, I don't think they'd necessarily be like on top teams, but I think they're all like good at the game. They know their stuff, and knowing them, I don't think there would be like obvious, like team attitude issues. You wouldn't see them like.
That's a big deal.
Whatever.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, as Kevin says, I'd need a month grindfest. Like, yeah, probably, but
yeah, I mean,
I think he could do
these guys. Of course, yeah, I think so too. I think there's enough talent there. I love tuning into like Pecky streams from time to time. Mm-hmm. More people should watch Pecky stream. He has a lot of fun, and like you said, he'll just pick something.
Every week it's something new. He's like, "Yo, Arachne mid is the shit."
And then he does it, and you get mad because he kills it.
Yeah.
And then just like laughs the whole time. And
yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh man.
Good old Peckies.
All right, I think we've run out of random shit to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed the Really with FDOT and Krett Chaacstravaganza annual Chaacstravaganza. If you enjoyed the show and you're watching on Twitch, come back next week. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and come back on Twitch next week.
Next week, we'll have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Sorry, we'll probably have to pause the restaurant semantics for a week. We're going to talk about...
But the week after...
We'll get back to it.
Restaurants.
Next week, week 10 will be over. So
Yep.
we'll have a lot of talk about who and how people are going to the Super Regionals, which will be a lot of fun. So join
I'm
us
taking a
next
boat.
Week. What? I don't.
You said how they're going to the Super Regionals. I'm taking a boat.
And we'll talk about Super Regionals. We'll catch you then, guys. Peace.
Peace.